Am I the only Gen Z person here with this Jordan? How old are you two? I'm 16. You do not look 25.
I know. Everybody says that.
I'm 19. Yeah. Do I look younger or older? Older. People say that I look 30.
So good afternoon to all of you who are watching. I'm now back and I'm just adjacent to Westminster Abbey, and like I said, there was a protest going on just over the road from where Steve Bray is, and I've now come over to Parliament Square where a special education needs protest is currently taking place, and it's called S.E.N.D Reform. And what I will be doing in a few moments, I intend to interview a few people to get an understanding and a feel of exactly what is going on here today. So if you look into the camera, see, I'm not a person I like to know what's going on in advance. Don't need to know. So good afternoon, what's your name?
Hello, Emily.
So Emily, tell me what's going on down here today with S.E.N.D Reform.
Well, basically, our schools are not supporting our children, and there are a lot of children that are fearful of school and scared to go into school. So there are a lot of children that are actually just missing school. And as parents, we get told off for not sending them to school. But they are, you're trying to send your child into what to them is a burning building. And you're saying, but it's for your own good. It's for your own good. Go into the burning building. They don't want to go into the burning building. We don't want them to go in the burning building, but we're being made to. So why can't we make the building less scary and just give them more help, more support, more breaks, sensory breaks, nicer uniform to wear, teachers that understand autism and all the different needs. All these teachers haven't really got a clue. I mean, some do, and some are amazing, but it should be a thing. As a teacher, you learn all this as training.
I'll make a disclosure which I've never told people before. Many years ago, I'm a lot older than what I look, yeah, I used to be the vice chair of an education committee in London. I also used to be the chair of governors at a school for children with emotional and special needs. And it was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. But I've got a few questions to ask. When you say children are not being supported, what do you mean by that?
I mean, a child goes into school and is told to sit down and do their lessons and get on with it. And, you know, for some and for most, that is great. And they can sit down and they can learn and they can do as they're told. But for some, to sit down silently and listen is really challenging. And the way they're being taught isn't the way that they need to learn. So they're coming out of school not actually learning anything because they're so anxious about their day and their clothes that they're wearing and everything else. They can't focus on the English lesson or the maths lesson. There's no sensory breaks. So you're telling them to sit down for an hour, then go to the next lesson. I mean, then go to the next lesson, then go to the next lesson. It's too much. I mean, if you're going to work and you smoke, you get cigarette breaks. If you go to work, you get lunch breaks. Yeah, they get lunch breaks. They get half an hour to queue up, to buy their lunch, and then to get ready for class. But what if the queue for lunch is half an hour? You don't get lunch. So they're missing out on the social side of the situation at lunchtime. They're not getting the food that they need. They're not getting the help and support that they need. We need fewer people in class, but more adults supporting them, more adults to know how to support them and how to teach them in an appropriate way.
You've raised a number of issues there, and I intend to pick up on most of them. But the first one, in regards to that support mechanism which you're referring to, I'm assuming that once a child has been identified as being problematic, maybe it's right or maybe it's wrong, there's a process where that child may need to be statemented, true or not?
Yeah, but I don't think you need to. If you look at a child and a child is struggling, you deal with the child that is struggling. If they fall down and cut their knee and they're bleeding everywhere, you don't just say, okay, well, I need to go and find out all the paperwork and stuff before I can actually stop the bleeding and put a plaster on it. You look at a child, you look at an individual, you see what they're struggling with, and you go to help them for what they need at that time.
But one thing you said is that there's not sufficient resources within the system to enable that process to be utilised effectively to identify each child, what they need and the individual support that's required. As a direct result of that, what happens with a child long term if they're then falling through the cracks and they're not getting the support that is required at various different stages of that educational process? Because, as you know, we've all got different learning styles, and in school you basically talk to one style. Yeah. So what's the effect of the children who ain't getting supported? Are they getting excluded? Are they getting caught up in the criminal justice system? What's the effect?
Yeah, well, I've got on my sign, it says there's blood on your hands, because they're cutting themselves. They are ending their lives because they cannot cope. You're telling them to go to school and they can't. It is a fear. It is not that they don't want to go. So you're making them do something that they are scared of every day, every minute of every day, and they can't cope with it. And if they keep doing that, they miss school. But if people are... Sorry.
Don't be distracted. Don't be distracted.
It's just my daughter's there, so I just want to check she's okay. They need to. I've lost my train of thought, but yeah.
Just that they need to be supported.
Yeah, basically, because so if my child doesn't go to school because they are scared of school, the school will then fine me because my child won't go to school. I mean, it's crazy, but how do I make my child go to school if they're scared of it? If somebody you love, how are you going to make them do something that they're actually scared of?
Just imagine Rishi Sunak and also the Secretary of State for Education is watching, yeah, and there's currently some activities going behind, hence the reason you're turning around, but don't worry, your daughter's safe, yeah. So just imagine Richie's watching and also the Secretary of State to Education. What do you want to say to them?
Please help. Please help. Can you look at the children? Can you look at the needs? You want to have adults that can have jobs to keep the society going, but you're running out of adults that can keep the society going because you can't get them through school. If you can't get them to school, how are they going to get proper jobs when they come out? You need to do it now so that they can then come out and get a job that they like and be comfortable with who they are. I mean, you don't want to ruin the whole 16 years of their life, their first years, because they're so fearful of school. It's not right.
Excellent stuff. Do I get the chance to talk to your daughters now? Are they scared to come and talk to Wendell Daniel from Street Night?
My daughter, this one's a teacher.
Oh, your teacher and a daughter?
Sure.
So come forward, don't be scared of me. And I see you've got a lovely camera there. What camera is it?
It's my mum's. I think it's just a Canon one. Yeah. Canon.
So it's your mum. So your mum's a photographer. Is she teaching you how to use it in manual?
Teaching me how to use it.
Oh, you're teaching her?
I learnt about cameras in school when I did photography.
So you know about aperture, speed, ISO and all that stuff?
A little, not very much.
Big up. A lot of people don't know about them kind of stuff nowadays. Yeah. And I love everyone's got a camera phone in their hand, but they don't know how to use a camera.
Yeah.
So talking to you, so why are you down here today?
I'm here to support my siblings since I had to go through a really difficult time at school. I don't want them to go through what I had to go through.
So describe what you had to go through personally.
Well, a lot of it was just fighting for the bare minimum support, getting extra time in exams, and I didn't get that for a lot of my exams, and I had to keep fighting for it, and it wasn't something that was guaranteed for me. It was just kind of per exam.
Yeah.
So it's
even though you have a diagnosis, you weren't even guaranteed extra time in exam.
So under the Equality Act, was you at the end of the day diagnosed with anything that gave you the right to have that extra time, extra support for exams? Because it could be defined as a disability. It depends on what the issues are, which I haven't asked. But what fight did you have to go through to get extra support, specifically extra time?
Well, I had to get a diagnosis through school of dyslexia, and then I got one outside of school, and they still kind of refused. But then we got
Autistic diagnosis?
No, the EHCP, and then I got extra time for all my exams.
And how difficult was it to get that autistic diagnosis? Because the reason why, in a previous job which I did, which I retired from 8 weeks ago, a gentleman, and it was voluntary retirement, the early retirement after 40 years. I look that old, and the issue was I used to represent people, and one gentleman, he got in trouble. He went through the disciplinary process for gross misconduct, but he had undiagnosed autism, which explained his behaviour. So I sent him to a specialist. He got diagnosed, and then they had to take that into consideration when they gave him a sanction and they gave him a chance. And it was a very long-winded process which took a lot of time and money. So what did it take you guys to get that?
I've got 4 children, and it has taken them between 2 and 3 years to get each of them diagnosed. So we're looking at basically most of their life just being going to paediatrician appointments and fighting for some acknowledgement that they need help.
And once you got that help with that official document, was there a weight lifted off your shoulder?
When I went in to see the paediatrician to get the official diagnosis for my first child, he said, yes, he's autistic, and that's all I can say. I can give you some leaflets, and that's it. That's all I got. I got some leaflets to go away to look at. I've done a lot of courses, and there are some really good courses out there, but nobody knows about them, and they need a lot more courses and a lot more professionals out there to help.
So things are looking up, and do you know something? You won't believe this. When you look around you in society, the amount of people who are leaders, trade union leaders, who are on the autism spectrum. Have you noticed?
Yeah, I definitely think that.
You can tell a mile off, can't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just because you've been labelled as having this, it doesn't mean you're thin. There's lots of things you can do, but it's finding what's right for you.
Yeah, definitely, 100%, and having that ability to be able to find out what's right for you, because you're not being squashed by everybody being told to shut up and do as you're told.
Excellent stuff. And this lovely young lady, is she a good photographer?
Better than me.
Has she been taking photographs of this, or even of me interviewing you?
I think so.
Yeah, taking a lot of signs, a lot of the people here, and just trying to spread the message.
So when you take a photograph, what is it in the photograph that you're looking for? What makes a good picture?
I want a good scene. I wanted to convey some emotion, to make someone feel something.
Ooh! So do you like pose photography or candid?
I just take pictures
Candid, probably.
Just what inspires me, I guess. Just stuff I see.
All right then. But listen, thank you very much for giving me this chance. My name is Wendell Daniel. And your friend over here, she's hiding. What's she hiding from me for? Hey, come here. Stop hiding. So that's me. Big up.
We'll go and see if she wants to come to
Yeah, get her off. Thanks a lot, yeah. So as we can hear, there's lots going on down here. And I'm testing out a new camera. It came yesterday. But, oh, there's Richie Sunak's coming out the house. There's Richie Sunak. There's Richie. There's Richie Sunak. Big up Richie. There's Richie Sunak. Richie's in that car. There's Richie Sunak. There's Richie Sunak, Prime Minister. Big up Richie. Big up Street Mike. So that's Richie Sunak coming out of the house after finishing Prime Minister's questions. So that was Richie Sunak. He's just come out of the house. So it's 1:20 and he arrived in there roughly about 11:30. So Richie Sunak is now on his way back. Let me have a look. Yep, he's on his way back to number 10 Downing Street. So that's Richie Sunak. Big up. I actually heard him say big up Street Mike. Did you guys in the chat hear it? If you didn't hear it, you're deaf. Because I heard it. I was actually planning to go down to... Hello, if you stay. Huh?
I heard you wanted to talk to me.
I thought you were scared of me, my darling. Now, if you move back a bit, You scared of the camera?
Yeah, I get a bit nervous.
Yeah, so do I. So, good afternoon. If you come forward a bit, come forward. Beautiful. If you stay there. So, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Emily.
Emily?
Yeah.
So, Emily, tell me about the importance of equity in education.
Well, for me, it's like one size doesn't fit all. So, education should be appropriate and inclusive to everyone, especially, like, for me, coming from a neurodivergent background, like, I'm autistic, and I just think, if I'd have had those supports in school, my mental health wouldn't have suffered nowhere near as much as it did later on in life, because I think I was at high masking. And if it was more accepted and those supports were put in place, I think I would have been able to thrive and achieve whatever I wanted, but from like a young age, and accept myself. And
when we hear the word autism or autistic, for those watching, can you describe what it means? Because everyone is different who's on the spectrum. So for you, what does it mean to be autistic?
What does it mean to be autistic?
From your point of view, how does it impact you? How does it manifest itself?
Yeah, so for me, I guess what people don't realise are the struggles that I go through on a daily basis, because I might not appear like I'm struggling, but I'm probably masking my inner struggles, where like I'm finding things like, especially when I was at school, things like, the environment I was in, very difficult, like the noise, the smells, the sounds, everything like that. It's overwhelming for me at times, and it can lead to like having meltdowns and things like that, so it can be really difficult. But also I get to experience the world in a really beautiful way, because my autism allows me to see the world in a different way, and I pick up on the details of things and the beauty of things in that way, like much more easily, I guess, and I can really focus on things and try my best in that way. So yeah.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. Someone is ringing me, but I've got to answer it. Hello, I've got to ring you back. I'm down by Parliament. I've got to ring you back. I'll ring you back in about half an hour. Bye. So, yes, so, I know people with autism who are on the spectrum. Many of them are high functioning. You said just now you concentrate on the detail and you like the concentrating thing. So what things are you great at? Because I know there are many things which autistic people thrive in. So what are you good at?
Yeah, I think there's it's always like a spectrum, and I might struggle in some areas more than other areas, and it's different for everybody.
What are you good at?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm really interested in psychological health, so mental health, things like that. I'd love to be a counsellor or a therapist one day, working with neurodiversity in particular.
But what is meant, because you've mentioned neurodiversity, this will be the second time you mention it. What is neurodiversity? Because I'm trying to educate people. So neuro is the brain, diversity is... What does it mean?
All it is that, of course, there are different brain types. There are different neurotypes. Not everybody thinks the same way, just like not everybody's going to learn things the same way. There's a thing, because the opposite, I guess, would be neurotypicals and or you're neurodiverse. So if you've got a neurotypical brain, you just learn things in a very typical way. It's like a standardized brain type. But then if you think about it, there's of course going to be diversity. There's going to be other brain types. It's nature. There's diversity in everything. So yeah, there's loads around you. Yeah.
Can I ask you, how old are you, mind me asking?
I'm 25.
Oh, you're 25. Yeah. You know when people say assumptions, yeah, and I would have said you're slightly younger, yeah. But when you are at school, yeah, you have the national curriculum. Yeah. Which subjects did you struggle in during the national curriculum, and which ones did you excel?
I struggled with things like maths, and I excelled in things like sociology, philosophy, psychology, biology, anything that's to do with learning about the world and people, how humans interact, human behaviour, basically.
And what did you excel in?
Well, that is what I excelled in.
Oh, sorry, I heard you, but obviously my headphones are not working. So how have you put that into action to maybe try and help others in 2023?
Well, I'm studying at the moment to be a therapist. I want to specialise in neurodiversity. So yeah, I just want to be able to help others, because I would have really wanted that support growing up. Yeah. And
final question is the easiest. What do you want to achieve from being down here today with so many people?
Yeah, I just want to help raise awareness, really, help change the attitudes towards neurodiversity, autism, ADHD, that kind of thing. And just bring awareness to children that don't necessarily fit in mainstream schools, and they don't necessarily fit in S.E.N.D schools. So for all the kids in the middle, like me, who didn't fit in mainstream, that do need help, they are struggling.
Excellent, that's normal. Thank you very much. And you got my card, yeah? Did I give you a card? See, unfortunately, for whatever reason, everyone knows me.
Oh.
I don't know why. Because I'm rubbish at what I do. Can you tell?
No, you're very good. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I was doing something political over there earlier on with Richie Sunak. Oh. And I saw you. When I finished that, I came over. So that's why I know what was going on when Richie went behind us. He was doing Prime Minister's questions.
Yeah, I see.
So your timing is perfect. Thanks a lot, yeah?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So,
it's a person's worst nightmare, isn't it, with all the noises?
No, some people it's their worst nightmare. Is it your worst nightmare today?
No, not mine. Not mine at all.
So, I'm going to look in my camera. I did like the fact that you wanted me to come and chat with you.
Someone said you need to go and speak to that man.
Oh, but did they say why?
Yes.
Why did they say you need to talk to me?
Because I've just quit my job as a 20-year serving police officer. Because my children need an occupational therapist, and it is quicker for me to qualify and train to become an OT than it is to wait on the waiting list for their names to come to the top of the list. So I am at the end of my first year of a master's in occupational therapy at Brunel University, and I have left a job of 20 years that I absolutely loved, that I was very good at, that I feel really passionately about and really strongly about, because my family comes first, and my family, their needs are greater than my need to go and be a police officer.
Do you know something? I really love the story you've just told me, I love coming on the streets. I never know who I'm going to meet or what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But I need to be able to react to what you're saying.
Yeah, go on.
I love what you're saying. You've just left a job after 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
I'm going to tell you something.
Go on.
I've just left a job after 40 years. You won't believe it. They say black don't crack.
Yeah.
Black don't crack. But I worked, I won't say online who I worked for, but I say to people I worked for an arm's length government organisation for 40 years, and I took early retirement because I left there, I joined there when I was 16.
Okay.
So I'm still 56, 57, so I'm still young, you get what I'm saying? So I appreciate leaving something to go on to do something you enjoy.
Yeah.
Whilst doing that, I went to Birkbeck University to do a degree in law. So I understand, and I've got issue about police, but I'm not going. Today's not about the police.
I hear you.
But you're now doing your studies.
Yes.
How are you going to be putting that into practice to help so many people who are struggling?
At the other side, when I'm qualified, there is a national shortage of occupational therapists. Occupational therapists really they're required for the EHCP process for children who have special educational needs. So we can't get through the process in a timely manner because we don't have the services in order to reach those milestones or those duties or obligations that the local authority need to do.
But why don't you think there are sufficient people in positions to enable the authorities to reach those duties and obligations? Because the Education Act and all the different acts have been there for donkey's years. Is it because if the people were there in positions, then everyone got the support and everything, statements and whatever they needed? It's unaffordable. Is that why?
Yeah, and I think that's why. So we've got really good. The S.E.N.D reforms in 2015 were really good, and they put in place a really excellent package for what children need and for what the local authorities should offer and what their duties were and their obligations. And what's happening is there's no penalty if those aren't reached. So the reforms are fab. There's nothing wrong with the reforms. It's the implementation that causes the problem.
It's all chat.
So it's all chat. You fight for this EHCP. You get an EHCP. You might as well wipe your bum on it, to be perfectly frank, because it's not really worth the paper it's written on. So you've got this. Nothing happens. So why would they stick to a deadline? Why would they not kick that deadline 6 months down the road, a year down the road, 2 years down the road? Because in the process of doing that saved them thousands. That saved them so much money. Yeah, in terms of, I didn't answer your initial question, in terms of why there aren't enough people in these positions, well, who funds it, And it's not just occupational therapists, is it? It's educational psychologists, it's teachers, it's nurses, it's doctors, it's police officers. It's the whole system where there is anything that is like funded by the state.
But I'm going to ask you a dodgy question, yeah.
No, not a dodgy one.
But when you think about it, you've got so many people within a school.
Yeah.
In a class, you've got 30 kids on average. Yeah. They've all got different needs.
Absolutely.
They've all got different learning styles.
Yeah.
Is it possible that we can genuinely, and I'm being devil's advocate here, I'm letting you know.
No, I hear
you. Can we cater for so much diversity?
Yeah, of course we can. I mean, we're in a diverse world. We need to start it from the very beginning, don't we? There are models of schooling where it works really, really well. You go to Finland, you go to Sweden, you go to other countries, and you see that until the age of 7 they play. In this country, we really turn people off education at a really young age because we try and force them into a system that their brains aren't developmentally ready for. So you get a 4-year-old boy trying to teach him to spell. What does that 4-year-old boy want to know with how to spell and but and will and can? That 4-year-old boy wants to play with his mates. He wants to explore the world by playing, by doing, by experiencing. And if we can't allow them to do that in a timely way or at the appropriate age, he learns really quickly he can't do spelling, therefore he's rubbish. What happens to his self-esteem? It turns him off for life. So then we're fighting all the way to try and catch up. If we just could get to a place where we're waiting for people until they're developmentally ready and doing things at the right time, like other countries have modelled they do, then, and also we're so rigid on the testing. We're so rigid. 1 in 5 children are persistently absent from school. 1 in 5. What does that tell you about the system? And persistently absent is 10% absent, or, 10% or more absent. And then the other thing is we put all this pressure on them from testing them from a really young age, whether it's, the phonics screening or the SATs at year 2 or the times tables in year 4 or the SATs, and it just goes on all the way through their career. So really early on they learn whether they're good or they learn whether they're rubbish. And actually, it might be that they're rubbish at spelling, but it might be that spelling has no place in their life because they've got a phone and the phone can dictate and can spell everything for them. It might be that they are phenomenal at creativity, or they might be phenomenal at speaking, or phenomenal at any other things, but they might just not be good at this one bit. But because somebody somewhere has deemed that this one bit is vitally important, it turns them off and it ruins their self-esteem, and it's a travesty.
10 minutes ago, the Honourable, I'll call him Honourable, Richie Sunak was driven by who's in a billionaire family. A few months ago, we all heard him talk about he wants to place an emphasis on maths.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
Oh, I thought it was nonsense. What a crock of old rubbish. Why do you need to know it? And actually, when you really think about the curriculum, so I'm on the other side. I've got two children that have really struggled in education, to the point that I have one with me today and one who has just started a new setting on Monday this week. And so I was really forced to confront looking at the education system. And when you look at it from the outside in, I remember someone once telling me the education system is for stupid people. And the idea is that, well, it just really got me thinking, because I just thought, the idea is that what we're learning, what we're telling the children, who decides on the curriculum, as long as they can read functionally, as long as they can write functionally, as long as they can do functional maths, if we're trying to make them do all of these things, these other subjects, like Byzantines. That's one thing my child mentions. Why do I have to learn about Byzantines? Like, who are the Byzantines? Great, don't get me wrong, if you've got a passion or an interest in that, learn about it. But if somebody said to me, I had to go and learn how to, hammer nails into a wall for a day, I would literally rather hammer those nails into my eyes, because it's no interest to me. So it's about trying to keep people captured, or keep the interest captured in where their volition lies and where their motivation. Because if you get somebody who's motivated, I tell you what, they're going to learn it like that. If you get someone who's not motivated, they're not going to learn it at all.
I hear you. Do you know something? It is so great to chat with someone like you who's so passionate about what you believe in, and you've given up a successful career to start something new. That is so great. But in closing, just imagine Richie Sunak and the Secretary of State for Education is watching.
Yes.
What do you want to say to them?
I want to say help our kids, because our kids just need a little bit more. There is no reason why they shouldn't be at the same starting line as everyone else. The UN Convention for the Right of the Child says that every child is entitled to an education, even the disabled ones. Even the disabled children are entitled to an education that they can manage and that is meaningful to them. So yes, I think it was around 2009 the Lamb report came out. David Blunkett, wasn't it, who said every child should be mainstream, and I know that there's a real push for mainstream. Is it because of the money? Who knows? But speak to any of the parents here, I suspect there's a few of them that would say yes, mainstream's great with a bit more provision, but many of us are saying those schools just aren't going to work for our children. So let's put the money where it's needed. There was a recent study that showed that if we get, it was on special needs jungle, and it was, if we get the early intervention right for children, per learner, we can save 380,000 per learner over the lifespan. And you think, actually, it's very short-sighted to think about not putting the intervention in now, kicking it down the road. Even if you kick it down the road for 2 years, the cost is going to be massive. Because if you've got a child that's been out of education for that long while they're waiting for the correct provision, trying to get them reintegrated back into the system is almost impossible, and that's what most of these parents here will be fighting against today, I suspect. And definitely the final question, you spoke not long ago about getting those disabled children recognised, and you're not talking about physical disabilities. Under the Equality Act, either Section 6 or 9, which one is it? I can't remember which one. Yeah, but everyone, if you've got a disability, it has to be recognised. You've got the statement in, and then it's there. But how difficult is that? Well, it varies, really. I mean, what you'll find is that a lot of the professionals themselves aren't even qualified to be able to say. So it took me 10 years to get my eldest diagnosed, 5 referrals to CAMS, the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services. We were told, and I'm talking in 2019, so not in the 1960s, not in the 70s or 80s. Recent. 2019, we were told she cannot be autistic because she gives eye contact. Oh my goodness me. She cannot be autistic because neurodivergent people don't pick and choose when to show their neurodivergence. So because she doesn't display her symptoms at school, she cannot be neurodivergent. That masking's been around ever since I've been exploring and looking into, the possibility that my child is autistic. So it took from, she was born in 2010, 2021 she was diagnosed.
Oh my word! But
that wasn't that she was missed or overlooked, because I was there. You can imagine, I was there banging on the door saying, please let us in, come and look at my child. They wouldn't even assess her. And when she was eventually assessed, there's a panel, all of them unanimously agreed she was autistic.
that is so great to hear, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. But next time we chat, we can have a very good discussion about your previous profession, and I can hear your former colleagues going by behind, so that's timely.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Thanks a lot, yeah. Have I given you a card?
I don't even know who you are.
I'm sorry, my name is Wendell Daniel. Yeah, I'm not video recording, I'm live streaming.
Oh, I probably wouldn't have called so many faces.
Listen, you know, I love what I do, everyone knows me. And I might just come down on the Wednesday, but I do a lot of police stuff.
Yeah.
I do a fire stuff. And down there you've got a gentleman called Steve Grace, who is a well-known agitator, even known around the world. And I'm really big close with Steve Grace when seen that was happening. Because they all think they was home.
Yeah.
So I filmed it, I saw this happening. I thought, interesting, isn't it? I'm over.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
It is a mess. I'm not joking, it's an absolute mess.
Listen, you've got practice dancers, you know that.
Yeah. And that's why I'm nearly 50. And I think it's time for change. The new revolution is coming. The new revolution is definitely coming. You don't have this many parents just because we're...
And you know something? It's terrible. Right, listen, shouting at parties or something. But when I saw so many people on a weekday, I know it's illegal.
Yeah.
Surely 100 or 50, but not this.
Yeah.
There can be a lot more, but there's a lot for a weekday. That's what I think.
Can I ask, can I listen back to this if it was live? Huh?
It's live, yeah?
But when you...
Yes.
So I can go online?
Yeah.
So is it still live now?
Say that again. I don't know.
No, I don't want to show my incompetence.
You're not incompetent. No. It is live, and you can go on YouTube, Street Mic live stream and watch. So say hello to your family and friends who are watching and listening.
All right. Hi, Mum. Hi.
Oh, no, go backwards. Just be normal. Don't lean forward.
Oh.
Just talk normal.
Right, what am I saying? Hi.
Say hello to whoever you want, or say F off to whoever you want.
Right, well, I would say, no, I'm too polite to say F off. I would say, come on, Bracknell, pull your socks up. Bracknell Local Authority, really get a grip of this situation. I would say to all the S.E.N.D mums in Bracknell, we're going to get there. I know we've had 5 different heads in as many months. 5 different heads of S.E.N.D in the last, well, probably slightly long in the last year. They come, they go, they come, they go. But guess what? Us parents are going to be there long after they've gone. So keep your peckers up, ladies and gents. We will get there. The new revolution is coming.
Big up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, big up. Hey, last time I saw you was with King Charles, wasn't it? I don't know. Hey, where you been?
Oh, I just finished doing Tilbury Docks, and I'm up in Birmingham tomorrow with Vanley Burke. So for Windrush Days.
And which newspaper do you work for? Which newspaper?
Me, I don't work for a newspaper. No,
Aye.
no, I'm an agency photojournalist now.
Which agency?
Well, Press Association.
A big one. So that gentleman, when I did the Grenfell fire last week, he was there with me. So he's well known as well. But he's a photographer for the Press Association. Oh my word! I knew you would be gone for.
No, I'm only down for a week.
Get there.
No.
He's talking, Robert.
You gave her false hope. He was.
Nora's being interviewed. Nora's being interviewed. Oh, is she? Yeah, I've got a phone. By who?
I said, when did I message you last week? I didn't message you last week. And you're feeling a bit open now, yeah? You've got withdrawal symptoms. But you know something, Joseph, yeah. I'm over. Ladies, come forward and speak to Street Mike. You'll find out in a minute. Hold on. I can tell you're feisty, you know.
From Colombia.
Colombia. See it there? See, no one knows me.
Street Mike.
3 o'clock, Trafalgar Square. I don't know.
Oh, no, because I'm going down that way, 3 o'clock. Because I was going to go to Chinatown. Yeah. So if you step forward. Come in front of the camera. Hey, do you know something? I feel... Come closer. Don't be scared of me. Come forward. So if you stay there, get a bit tighter. So, good afternoon. My name is Wendell Daniel and welcome to Street Mike. Can I ask your name first?
I'm Florence.
Florence, big up. And who's this young lady from Colombia?
Oh, Amanda.
So Florence and Amanda. Yeah, so Amanda, you're first. No, I know, I'm only joking. So Florence, why are you down here?
Fighting for our children. They're constantly being failed by the system. We need a reform. We need these guys here to be held accountable. We need people to do their jobs properly. You know, they're wasting money doing other things, and it should be going towards helping these children sustain a better future and thriving in their education. Do
you know something? I love what I do, but I love when people sling out slogans like you just done. I don't want no slogans. I want facts.
What's that slogan?
Yeah, so tell me, how are the children failing? What needs to be done? Specific. What are you laughing at, man?
Nothing, sorry.
What are you laughing? You think me's an amateur?
I didn't come here to laugh.
I ain't no amateur, you know what I mean? It's good.
It's got a bit of comedy, you know, bringing a bit of humour.
I don't know. She thinks I've got comedy.
We like that, Street Mike.
You like that? Big up.
We like that because it's already tense, it's exhausting, it's tiring.
You're knackered.
You know, we're tired.
Oh, then if you're knackered,
We're tired.
yeah, let me let you cool down and I'm talk to the Colombian.
I'm also tired.
I'm going to make you even more tired by chatting with me. So you tell me why you're down here.
Why am I here? I'm fighting for my boy.
Yeah. So tell me about your boy and what he's going through at this moment in time.
Archie's 6 years old. Been in part-time education 2 years. He has got an EHCP for the last 3 years.
Whoa, rewind, select. He got what?
Yep. He's got an educational health plan.
Thank you.
It's illegal.
Thank you.
It's a legal paper that
Thank you.
until he's 25 to help with him getting an education. He's meant to get support from the local authority.
Under a certain legal obligation. See, that's me. You got to educate my people, man. You know what I mean? We don't all watch EastEnders.
Archie has been excluded from mainstream school 19 times now. We're from Milton Keynes, and I've been fighting for 2 years. I'm a single mother. I've got 3 children, well, one's 23, Archie's 6, Savvy is 5 years old. I've also got cancer, so I'm supporting myself as well as supporting my boy. And here for all the other parents. I met this lady today, not known her before today. We're all here for the same thing.
So tell me, you lovely lad Archie, you said he's been fixed-term exclusions on a number of occasions. And why do you believe he's received those fixed-term exclusions? And is he on the verge of going through the process to be permanently kicked out and possibly end up within the criminal justice system? So where is he in that process at the moment?
It could go to that process, and we still have 4 weeks left of schooling term, and it can happen. But they are supporting me at the moment just because of my illness, but we still have that chance that he could be permanently excluded. We're still fighting for his place. Our journey is only just starting, even though I've been fighting already for 2 years for him. There is not enough support for our teachers, for the mainstreams. If there was support and training for these teachers, they could help our children to maybe get that stepping stone until they go into the next chapter. Because every school is full, that's all we get. We're full, we cannot help you, we cannot support you. Then make more support, make that. You're spending money building homes, clubs, all these food industries, you're wasting money left, right and centre. Why don't you spend some on investment of the new generation? They are the future, they are your problem. They are now 5, 6 years old. Another 10 years, they are the people that be working towards this, towards England.
And I want to talk to you guys, don't go anywhere. So, how about yourself?
To bounce off what Amanda has just said, 253 million is spent on appeal by the local authority. It doesn't make any sense. 253 million. That could go towards supporting these poor children, giving them better education, not second-class education. Something's got to be done. Someone's got to be held accountable for this.
Final question. Just imagine Richie Sunak and the Secretary of State for Education is watching. Talk to them. What do you want to say? And don't be scared.
You talk.
Talk to them, man.
You're failing our children. You're failing all our babies. It's not just one county, it's nationwide, and that's why we're all here standing in solidarity. We've got grandmas, granddads, uncles here, all, because it's not just something that affects the mom and the dad, it affects the whole family unit, We're exhausted as parents, and we're on the verge of mental breakdowns ourselves. And these children, when they're not supported early enough, they grow up to become adults with mental health issues. And that's a bigger problem for the society. Something's got to be done right now. A total reform.
You wonder about the increase of the crime, the increase of the bullying. It's all towards our children because they haven't been nurtured from the early years. If you start at early years and don't wait until they turn, to teenage time, then start breaking in or, just getting into no good, then, it would be very helpful.
Excellent. Thank you very much as normal. Big up. See, that was nice and easy, wasn't it? Big up. See, now these lot from Enfield are next. Enfield, step forward.
Hackney Lodge.
Is it a Hackney Lodge?
Hackney Lodge.
Huh? See, Enfield's a dodgy borough, man. Enfield is the dodgiest borough in Enfield. Yeah? See, I'm going to come forward, ladies. I'm going to make a disclosure. I know nothing about Enfield Council.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
I know nothing about Enfield. Yeah, you can see my face, can't you? But I'll tell you afterwards what I do know. I know a lot, and you're going to be shocked what I'm going to tell you. Yeah, so if you introduce yourself, who are you? Blondie. Pinky.
My name's Carmel. I'm Max's mum.
From Enfield.
From Enfield.
And what school does he go to?
He goes to Waverley School.
Where's Waverley?
In Enfield.
Where in Enfield?
Ponders End Way.
I live Bushell Park. Moving on.
Ah!
Hi, my name's Karen. My son is Connor. He goes to school out of Borough. He goes into Tottenham to Belmont, which is a mainstream school with good S.E.N provisions.
My name's Natalie. My son is Kai, and we are the Hackney Borough. My son goes to Woodbury Down Primary School.
Woodbury Down, I know it well. So tell me, ladies, why was it important for you to be here today?
We want to be heard. We're sick of fighting the councils. Every positive step we make, we've had to fight 100 battles behind the scenes to make that step.
More funding needs to be given. Our children are vulnerable. They need to, they need to be seen. They need to be heard. They need to be supported. And we want some more funding from the government, really. We want more schools. We want more support staff in schools.
The schools are struggling. The schools need support, and if the schools don't get support, then our children don't get the support they need. So we have to start by coming together, everyone. It's so nice hearing everybody's stories. We can all relate. We're all going through the same thing together, but that doesn't make it right. The fact that we're all struggling just to get the support for our children to have the same their needs met that all other children have.
But why do you think you are struggling to get the support, to get that plan maybe that is required? Why is the struggle getting worse and worse and worse?
All the cuts, funding cuts.
So many cuts. There just isn't the financial support. I don't think it's seen as a priority. They think we will put up and shut up, and that will just take it lying down, and that's why the support isn't there, and it's just so wrong.
Also, I think there's a lack of resources, so I don't think that they can actually get the people in even if they wanted to. One, because the wages are probably not that good, and two, they haven't trained enough people up in this industry, so they don't know anything about it. So anyone who's wanting to get into it, they can't get into it because they don't have the right qualifications.
What do you hope to achieve from coming out here today? I don't know if you saw, Rishi Sunak went by about 25 minutes ago. He went by initially at 11:30 to go into the House to answer Prime Minister's questions. So what do you want to achieve by being out here with so many other people who are going through this similar situation as yourself?
To be seen, to be heard, for our children to be seen, for the struggles that we're going through to be seen, to create more awareness for what we're going through and what our children are going through.
But I'm now going to make a disclosure, and it's important to do it at the end, not at the start, to influence you guys in any way. I used to be the vice chair of the education committee for the London Borough of Enfield, so that's why I was interested. I was also a chair of governors at a school with children with emotional and education needs, and it was called Aylands then, which was down by Enfield Wash, down by Enfield Lock, and I was also a governor at Ragland, which is because I live just around the corner, so I'm aware of the education system. I'm aware of how difficult it is to get your children recognised, get that plan, but once it happens, that support potentially is there, but there's not enough people to do it, and it's sad.
That's correct. I mean, even if you do get the EHCP, my son's had it since he was 2.5. He doesn't, even though he's got the funding technically from the government, local authorities don't have the capabilities to be able to meet those needs still.
Yeah. But ladies, thank you very much, and fight the bastards, fight the fight. I'm not scared to say that, man. I've been a rebel, but I was a councillor back in the 90s. I'm old, black don't crack, they say. So I know how it works. And can I be quite honest? I have grandchildren. I won't say they go to school in Enfield. Yeah, just off Southby Road somewhere around that area. Yeah. There's schools down there. You get what I'm saying? Because I live in Bushell Park, and I love coming down here and to engage with you guys. Don't be put off. You have to come regularly, raise awareness, and keep up the fight. But congratulations for the hard work, and I want to see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how comes normally I don't do things in Enfield.
Nah.
I am this weekend for the Black Lives Matter. But no, I don't. There's a conflict of interest. I don't do it.
Yeah.
All right then, thanks a lot, yeah? All right then.
Mainstream now, that's really inclusive. They're like, why are we changing it back? It's not changing it back, it's changing it to a better environment. There's a really high turnover of staff, even in some schools. I had, the year that I left, so I worked in the residential school. I left there in 2020, and that year, 50 members of staff left. It's And the fact that they were literally turning them over like factory farm, it was like another kid in, another kid in, another kid in, one-to-one, not enough staff to be attacked, doing any of the like, we're not going to pay for that, how are we to do it? I get back. She's left now. She doesn't have kids herself. She don't know. When we get a lot of kids, we had 2 that were fired, another 2 pregnant. And they all come in with this ideology that the children just misbehave, and if you just are strict, then the kids behave, and they come in and they can't change it because it's not your problem, and then they leave, and that's it. They're like, you can't teach me my first name. You have to call this Sir, Mr. I know. All kids need to be wearing uniforms.
But you can tell can I be honest here?
Yeah.
They love it. I love it. They're doing well. Yeah. What things education. Education is all good. They're going away in the last week. So,
it doesn't take long as well. You can get the most difficult child going, and the right member of staff, they can't go it. I always find against
Can I get a picture next to the camera like I've been on the news? Yeah, go jump in, come on girls. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know who's going to be taking a picture. Big up, big up, big up.
Thank you.
Big up, big up. Now, hold on, now I want my picture, man. Hold on. This is for my thumbnail.
Thank you so much.
Hold on, go back a bit. I want it for my thumbnail. That's it. And that's it. And I got Big Ben in the background. Lovely. Lovely. Oi, open your eyes, girl. Open your eyes. Thank you. Thanks a lot, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, for all of you who are watching, my name is Wendell Daniel and welcome to Street Nike, and we're coming to you live and direct. So, what I'm now going to do, I'm led to believe that hey, what's happening, man? So I'm led to believe that there's going to be a big protest going on down at Trafalgar Square at 3 p.m. So I'm going to be going, see, people don't know me, if you notice. Hey, what's happening, big man? See, this man is in, come round, don't worry. So this man is in charge. Where you been hiding?
No, I'm not hiding. I'm just patrolling around here.
You're patrolling, you're the boss.
No, I'm not boss. I'm just...
Yeah, but you know something?
Just a security officer.
Some of your colleagues, when I put my camera down,
yeah.
You can't put your camera down there.
Seriously?
Yeah. You let me, don't you?
Yeah. No.
See, this is a good
as
man.
As long as you got permits, that's okay.
Yeah, I got my permit hidden.
I know you got your press card, isn't it?
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah. But you're good, yeah? Excellent stuff. Thanks a lot. So that's one of the heritage wardens down here at Westminster. And sometimes when you go on the grass here, they come round asking you for all kind of different foolishness. They want you to give your press pass and your this and your that. They're just jobs worth. So it has been an interesting day today. If you look over my shoulder, we can see Big Ben. So you may have seen that today I've revealed certain things about Street Nike, what I used to do many years ago. And this was in the late 90s. I was vice chair of an education committee for a London borough. And we had over £500 million for the education budget per year. So when it comes to education, that is something that's so important for me. So when I heard this event was going on, I felt it was important for me to be here. And that's why I came over. And as you can see, I've engaged with lots of people and I can see people are when people are looking at you, I can tell they want to engage. So don't be scared. So if you come forward, don't be scared, sir. So let me pull the camera down. So you good, yeah?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, man. So what's your name?
Lewis.
So Lewis, tell me why you're down here today in front of Parliament with this protest.
Because the council need to move themselves and the schools need to start actually doing what they're supposed to do instead of suspending children for no reason.
Yeah. Have you, Lewis, been suspended yourself?
Too many times.
Yeah. And
we're on an exclusion today.
You had one today as well?
We're on exclusion today.
So you've had a fixed term today. How long's that for?
2 days.
3 days.
3 days?
Yeah.
So why have they given you a fixed term exclusion for 3 days?
For not being able to communicate in the way that they would like him to.
Yeah. And do you believe they're actually discriminating against your son because he has a weakness in a particular area that prevents him from communicating the way they want him to communicate?
Yeah, he's got autism and ADHD and there's no education plan at the moment. We've been waiting since 2020 was the last education plan. We've been waiting 3 years and we're still waiting.
Yeah. And it is quite painful for me to hear something like that. But from your point of view as a parent, knowing your child, let's say he has a disability. Yeah. But I'm not talking a physical thing. It's something that's preventing him from learning as a long-term adverse effect on his ability to conduct day-to-day activities. That's the legal terminology because I know it. Yeah. But how long does it take to go through the process to get the plan you require so he gets the help and support he needs?
Well, technically it should take 20 weeks from start to finish. But yeah, we've been waiting since 2021 was the last request for review, and we've got no plan as
That's something like 104 weeks minimum, which is 84 weeks more than what they've said.
Yeah, and no support during this time at all.
No.
And what's it like when you get excluded? Are you glad, or does it cause you?
It kind of annoys me because of the reason if the teachers don't listen, then how are you supposed to tell them what happened? Because if the teacher doesn't listen enough, how are they supposed to know what's happened actually instead of just asking? I can't talk. You talk. I can't.
They don't give you enough time, do they? I don't think, to explain and be able to have the ability to be able to do it.
Yeah. But I wish you all the best, and I do hope you get the help and support your son is required. You are in the right place. And just imagine, come forward. Just imagine Richie Sunak, the Prime Minister, who went past here 50 minutes ago. Just imagine. He's watching with the Secretary of State for Education. What do you want to say? Look in the camera, talk to him.
Listen.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Say it again.
Listen.
Big up. Thank you, sir. So how was that, my darling?
Accountable, don't they?
No problem. I'll give you my card if I got any left. So I'm live streaming, so I'm live.
Oh, perfect.
Big up. Thanks a lot, yeah? Nice one. See? Hey, don't listen to me, yeah? Trust me. Just because you've been excluded and keep being excluded, just because your needs are not being met at the moment, it does not mean you're a failure. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Because there are many leaders out there who have conditions and they've, eventually when they've come through the system, they've done what they wanted to do that suits their learning abilities and styles. Because at the moment, you've got to do what they tell you. And it may not be what's best for you.
Yes.
And you know that. Yeah, so what are the things you're good at? Tell me, man. What are you good at?
I'm quite good at math.
You're good at maths? Gee, what else?
What, in school?
Yeah.
I'm quite good at listening.
I can tell.
Sometimes I don't listen, but most times I'm listening. I don't look at the teacher when I'm listening. It's just so that I can understand what they're saying, and I can try and keep it in my head as long as I can.
Yeah. And when it comes to using your hands, What things are you good at when you use your hands?
So usually I click. Usually I'll. I forgot what it's called. Crack my knuckles. But most of the time I'll type with a computer. I don't usually write, but I use a computer whenever.
And are you fast at doing that?
Yeah.
Can you touch type?
Yeah.
See, big up. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah. Keep up the good work. Next time I see you, I want to hear you've got that plan, and you're going to be excelling. Yes.
Yes.
Big up. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks a lot. So as we can see, there's many parents down here who are in a similar position, and they're fighting for their children to get the recognition and support that they're looking for. And I'm confident that eventually they will get what they required. But the time is now 2:10, but roughly around 2:30 I'm going to head down towards Trafalgar Square, because I'm led to believe a big protest with cats and dogs is taking place down there. So yet again, I'm going to shut down at 2:30, go towards Trafalgar Square, set up a new link, and it will come up as something different. Hello. They drew me over here because these guys are having great fun with the bubbles. So for those of you on YouTube, I hope you can, as you begin to learn about the things I do, you know, for me to come out on the streets and to do something like this, it is so important. And to capture these events, you know, a lot of camera people, for example, down at Speaker's Corner, they're one-dimensional. All they do is Speaker's Corner. Nothing else. You don't see nothing else. But with me, basically on a daily basis, I'm out doing different things. And it is so important. And, you know, when you get out here, you meet so many great people, different people. For me, you know, it doesn't matter you're black, white, pink, blue or green. You've probably worked that out for yourself. You know what I'm saying? But to come out and do this, to capture it, the important bit for me is that we are creating a historical record. Please remember that. You know, a lot of people won't come out and do these things because not many people are going to watch. It's not about the numbers. What it is about, capturing that record, and it's there.
I wondered, would it be possible to read my daughter's pen, please? My teenager's pen.
Yeah. So I'm now going to spin her. Do it with the bubbles in the background.
Okay.
So a young lady who we've already met is now going to read a poem. So who wrote the poem? You?
No, my teenager, who is 14, wrote this about mental health. You think I'm smiling and laughing with my friends, but secretly I'm thinking, when will this end? I get on with my work and focus as hard as I can. The teacher asks, "Are you okay?" My head is filled with thoughts I don't understand. I just say I'm fine, but I'm dying inside. If I act happy, they won't suspect a thing. when secretly I want someone to know my pain. When I get home, I cry in my room. Why can't I be happy and live life like I should? I ask my parents, please can I see someone? My head really hurts. They say, just get off your tech. I lay in my room while the darkness creeps in, wondering why couldn't I win. The darkness it pulls and scratches my skin while I lay here and think, now I can be free. Please check in with your child and do not wait, otherwise you might just be too late.
Wow, that is some powerful words you've just read. That was written, it's a poem, so when was it written?
A couple of months ago.
Wow. And what was going through the person's mind when they wrote that?
Just how hard life is and how hard school life is, and they could not cope with it. It's just too much.
Yeah. And how old are they?
14.
Oh, wow. That is so powerful, and thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. Like you say, you've got my YouTube address, and I'm live streaming, and, you know, you can watch it back, and do you recognise yourself? Does that look like you? See, so that shows. So continue the good work. I'm leaving here in about 15 minutes because I'm going to a protest down at Trafalgar Square, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excellent, thanks a lot. Yes, so I was saying, for me, it's important to come out and do these events. Don't matter you're black, white, pink, blue, orange or green, gay or lesbian. You do these things and you get a feel of what's really affecting people. Because a lot of the stuff that you see in the media is not real. A lot of the stuff that you see, specifically, a lot of you know me from Speaker's Corner, that's bullshit. 99.9% of what you see at Speaker's Corner is a load of bullshit. And I would say that. And, you know, people get off on it. But it's reality regardless if I like it or you like it. And it's important to record what goes on there. But it's also important to capture this type of stuff, because when you do come out, people know you. And listen, man, I'm recognised all over London, no matter where I go. And the great thing, when you do come out, I get away with a lot because the police and everyone knows me. And they let me basically do what I want because they know I'm not taking a piss. They know I'm not doing things for the wrong reasons. Even earlier on I had a discussion with the top man who's in charge of the security down here for Rishi Sunak. I know him and I chat to him, and I'm not going to say no more than that, but I know him well. And, you know, when I come down here, we can talk. So it's important. So for those of you who are Speaker's Corner's fans, please remember that on Sunday I intend to engage with Bob the Builder about what happens on Sunday. If you watched what happened, I'm of the belief I'm going to repeat it purely for those who are not aware of what I've said. They may not have been watching. So an event occurred on Sunday involving Bob and the fake shake. It's a fact that Bob was pushed first. It's a fact that he retaliated against the person who pushed him, the fake shake. It's a fact that the fake shake's bodyguard then created an issue with Bob. He pushed Bob. It's a fact that Bob's cameraman then jumped in and all hell broke loose. They are facts. I'm now going to give you my opinion. I believe that I'm putting a legal analysis on those set of facts. I believe that what happened was that the elderly man did push Bob. That's not in dispute. But I believe it was not intentional. It was an accident. That is what the evidence shows me. I believe that Bob's reaction to the man's unintentional pushing was not proportionate. That's a legal term. It was not justified how he reacted to the gentleman. As a direct result of what what Bob did, the Sheikh's bodyguard then pushed Bob and all hell broke loose. But what I want to speak to Bob about on Sunday was his justification for reacting the way he did, because I believe it wasn't justified. And I will argue why. And I also believe, based upon previous evidence with the other sheikh, when Bob got into an issue about 6 weeks ago, if you remember, and I was there, exactly the same thing happened. His reaction was disproportionate, and it's now becoming a pattern, in my opinion, with Bob's conduct. However, I do believe he can argue he did it in self-defence. I've got no problem with that. But I'm arguing it was not proportionate. But also, I know there is a historical issues in regards to Muslims and Christians down at Speaker's Corner. So I can understand why certain things might have happened. But I need to have a conversation with Bob. And I know Bob will facilitate that conversation with myself. So I'm happy that will take place. So hopefully, if Bob is there on Sunday, if he's there, it will happen. But we will be starting on Sunday at 1 p.m. with Rational Female and her girlfriend. So on Sunday, the debate will start. It's going to be a double debate, 2 women, Rational Female and her girlfriend, her girl who is a friend, nothing else. They will be starting the debate. That's the proper debate, so 1 o'clock. But I normally get there 12:15. But if something is happening which is interesting, I'll go live before 1 o'clock. But at around 1 o'clock, Rational Female and her girlfriend will be carrying out a debate. And also, the guy Blue something, Pink Blue or Blue Purple or whatever his name was, he's going to be back in 2 weeks' time, and he will be standing on his soapbox for 15 minutes. I've invited him to do that, and he will be doing it. So I'm just reading a few of the comments that was made. And some people believe I don't like Bob, and that's the exact opposite. I really like Bob. He stands up. He's very intelligent. He's well read. And I've got no issues with Bob. Bob puts my microphone on. I leave it on him, and he trusts me. But I'm arguing that his reaction was disproportionate. Don't forget I've done law. So I'm arguing from a legal point of view. He was attacked, you can say, and he retaliated. That is not in dispute. I'm not saying, it didn't happen, because it did. What I'm saying was that the fake sheikh, he did brush past, but it was unintentional. Bob's reaction was brutal, and it was disproportionate given that it was non-intentional. The legal analysis I've placed on it, no one has come up with nothing like that. I don't follow crowds, I don't follow people. That's why I like to be different. So that is where I'm coming from. You might not agree with it, but I'm now going to read some of the comments in the chat. So, Taffy46, Sheep, Jordan M, Chav Day Out, Taff46, oh geez, bloody hell, is he still alive? No kids should feel like that, exactly. Jordan M, retaliated against a 65-year-old man, lots of love. Soka took a tumble oath also, yes. It's not the first time Bob has been violent, correct. I followed the superstar street night. Sod Speaker's Corner. I love winding up the religious fanatics in the chat. Big up the Sharifs. Jordan M, well said. Shouldn't put your hands on number 1, Jordan. The Sheriffs, big up. Sloopel, big up. Bob looks depressed and overweight. Probably needs a break from Speaker's Corner. Taffy, if they don't win a debate, they attack every time. Big up Bob. The police at Squeaker's Corner are sick of Bob, little red-headed trouble. Didn't he apologise? I rest my case. We respect street night. Big up, big up, big up. So I talk it as it is, man. You get what I'm saying? And it's important we talk it as it is. So, like I said, I'm going to be closing down in 5 minutes. And when I close down, I'm going down to Trafalgar Square because I'm led to believe a protest is taking place there at 3 o'clock. And if that does occur, and it's something about cats and dogs that I've been told, and a photographer who's a friend of mine told me that. So, you know, I'm happy. So if it does happen, you know, I should be back online around 3 o'clock, and it will have a different description when it comes up. So I'm going to shut down and make my way to Trafalgar Square, which is literally just down the road. It won't take me 10 minutes to get there. So all I can say, this is the stuff I love doing. It ain't about numbers or anything like that. It's about recording real events. So let's see the boy. He's there with Mummy. And so Mummy is having fun in the park. And, you know, everyone is down here just chilling out. I'm just going to pan around for a little while. And you can see what's going on. And then eventually we're going to lock down or shut down. Hope you like me chatting. Me talk good, you know, Rasta. So I come in the camera. Let me come in the camera and you can cuss me. So I'm now coming to the camera. So that's street night, so that's me. So let me get some better light. So overhead you can see. So good afternoon to all of you who are watching. I know you know me. So go in the chat and cuss my backside because I don't care. So I'm Wendell Denham from Street Night coming to you live and direct from the streets of London. And the reason I'm doing this, I love it, mate. But tomorrow I got a funeral, big funeral to do at 10 o'clock till around. Let me see what's on your. Say that again. Who are you?
Yeah. I'm Monkey Magic News.
Say that again.
I'm Monkey Magic News.
What's that?
It's a YouTube channel, just like yours.
Oh no, but I'm doing this.
Yeah, of course you can. I just said it.
No, but I'm chatting about this education, nothing else.
No problem.
I'm doing education, that's what I'm doing.
Subscribe to Monkey Magic News, though, yeah?
So, anyway, tomorrow I'm doing a funeral, and, you know, I'm looking forward to that. Get a bit of sun. It's gone out of focus. Come on, you, that's better. So I'm doing a funeral tomorrow. Is it a bit washed out? See, when you get a black man standing in the... So if I put my sunglasses on, it makes it slightly darker, but then I become a bit darker. So that's one of the downsides. So as I said, tomorrow I'm doing a funeral from 10 roughly till about 4 o'clock. Then I'm going to the house, I keep saying the House of Lords, that's behind me. Then I'm going to Lord's Cricket Ground to live stream Sir Wes Hall book signing event, and he was West Indies' fastest cricketer. So I'm doing that tomorrow. That's going to be really great. So I'm doing 2 things tomorrow. And then the week after I'm doing a funeral for a gentleman who was brutally murdered in London, and that will be shown on YouTube, Facebook and TikTok on the 30th of June. So make sure, you know, you tune into that and you will watch a funeral of someone who was murdered. 2 weeks after that, I'm doing a funeral for someone who was on Channel 4 as an actor, and I'm not, and it's a young lad who died, so I'm doing his funeral on the 13th of July. So I've got lots of stuff coming up, but they're just the ones I'm telling you about. So I've got 4 funerals tomorrow. I'm doing 1, and I've got other people doing 3 for me. So it is so great. You know, when you run a business, let me tell you about that. When you run a business, I can understand the way the bosses think and feel, because I was employed myself for 40 years. I retired 6 weeks ago because I'm now running my own business. But now I can get people to do things for me. I pay them a salary and I still get lots of money for not doing nothing. And I love it. And I can understand how the bosses feel, because, you know, I'm taking all the risk, I'm cutting the deals, I'm closing the deals, I'm using my reputation as Street Mike to get them a job. And I'm paying them very good money. I pay, if you do me a funeral, for example, I'm paying 50 quid a location. So tomorrow, my cameraman, I got a 4 location job. I won't tell, I charge a lot more than that. I pay my cameraman 50 quid a location, and my cameraman uses all of my equipment. So they're getting 200 quid for that 5 hours work tomorrow. That's what I'm paying them. And they're happy with that. You get what I'm saying? But what I get, I get a lot more than that. You get what I'm saying? But everyone is happy, and we're giving clients a quality service, and they're recording the final journey of their loved one. And I get so much pleasure in being able to do that to a very high standard. So when I come out doing this, I'm testing my new camera. And one thing I don't like about this camera, it's much smaller, it's just as powerful, but the battery consumption is so bloody high. And that's the problem. So, but we are shutting down now, and it is now 2:30. As you know, I run by Blackman time, Greenwich Mean Time. When I say 2:30, I'm gone. When I say 3 o'clock, I'm back. So come back at 3 o'clock and you can see me. That's if anything is going on down at Trafalgar Square. So Big Ben is now donging for 2:30, so I'm now shutting down.